Okay, perfect. Okay. I'm going to need my sunglasses on as well. As part of a new series that I want to do, I want to introduce you to people in my life and we can chat a bit about how remote work has changed my life. Normally, I want to be introducing this as how do we know each other, but I think it's fairly obvious that this is my mum and we're just going to talk about my journey, especially over the last few years. So at the moment, we have had the pleasure of living together once again for one more week. How have you found it?
I found it easier this time than probably all the other times we've lived together, Rach.
Why?
Just because we've all settled into our own groove better. It's harder when there's a lot of movement, but because
true.
Three of us have been here and you've arrived back, it's just we've settled back into it really well, I think.
Yeah, in summer it was more difficult because I kept on popping away and you wouldn't know when I'd be helping with the dogs.
No, I just wouldn't have any idea when you were here and when you weren't. But it wasn't just about the dogs.
And now I've got a newfound appreciation for the dogs because of Peanuts. I've never actually asked you this, but what do you think I do, or do you know what I do?
At the moment, I think you've got a couple of clients, 2 or 3 maybe, one of whom you do the social media for, and the other 2, I'm not sure what you do for them. And then you also do the online training in lead generation and appointment setting, and then mentor people who've done that course as well.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, so it's, well, kind of. I mean, in terms of clients, it's mostly just the mentorship and the coaching at the moment. So obviously when I go on my calls, it's normally for people that are interested in remote working or they are currently working with me and they're looking for clients. And then when it comes down to clients, I guess I still do have some of those calls because people reach out to me and then they say, I'm interested in getting an appointment setter, and then I learn a bit more about their business before actually facilitating them with one of my setters. So you're kind of there.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, that was pretty good. What would you say about my journey? Obviously, I went to Australia, I went to uni, then I went to, which was in Manchester, then I moved back home to work in London, and then obviously went to Bali more or less for 2 years and a lot of summers in between. How would you say my journey, like what would you say about my journey to anyone that asked?
I think for you, we've always said about you that you bring every possible bit of enjoyment out of life. You've always loved travel, and so it's worked brilliantly for you. Having the flexibility. I think it was good that you were in Manchester for uni, because it was a good distance from home, but you had family near you. Great that you went to Australia, and Bali's worked really well because of the community that you had there as well. I think the remote working works especially well for you, that it wouldn't necessarily work for other people because you have terrible FOMO.
Yeah, true.
So you want to be, you obviously you have to work to be self-sufficient, which you are completely, but you don't want to miss out on anything at any time in any place.
I
so
know.
It's really helped with that. But in another way, it's caused you some stress at times because you can't be in 3 places at once.
I know, I feel like then you almost feel pressure to do everything.
Yeah.
But I remember even when I was in my 9 to 5, and do you remember I was working from home that Friday when it was Doreen's funeral, and then I got the train up to Manchester.
Yes, I know.
Whilst I was working,
Yeah.
and then made my way to the service,
Yeah.
and then was working from the car during the break.
Yes, I do. Bless
And that
you.
was, but then that was like, I think that was probably around the time that I realised that remote work actually probably would be beneficial for me because I loved it and
Yes.
being able to do everything that I wanted to.
Yeah, I've also worked remotely, and it's worked brilliantly for me as well.
Would you say that I inspired you to work remotely?
I think lockdown inspired a lot of people to work remotely, not just you, Rach. But I do think the way you handle it does inspire people to do it. Yeah, definitely. I don't think you necessarily inspire me. Sorry to say.
But we do work in completely different
Yeah,
things.
we do.
Hey, that actually leads me really nicely on to my next question. What is your opinion on online business?
What sort of business?
So, for instance, obviously for me, I trained in appointment setting and then I started offering that to clients, but now I've more moved into having my own business, which is coaching and mentoring people into the space. But do you think that it is possible, whereas before it was more out of touch?
Oh, I totally think it's possible, and I think it's the way the world's going. They're saying that in the future it'll be the plumbers, the carpenters, and the the hands-on occupations. They'll be the ones that people see face to face more than other
People in
professions.
offices.
Yeah, absolutely. But also, I think it's nice to have that human contact sometimes as well.
Yeah, I agree, because even now I think that being home, I'm obviously really fortunate to be able to move back in to a really busy house, so it means that I'm never actually lonely. But I think that one of the things that I've really enjoyed in Bali and at home is like having a community where you can check in and speak about everything digital, nomad based. But it's really sad because I definitely have noticed that some people struggle because they are working from home more, but they're still chained
They
to
feel more isolated.
a desk and isolated.
Yeah.
And in the UK it's much harder because you can't say I'm going to go and work from a cafe for 12 hours like you can in Bali and they'd welcome you with open arms. In the UK they almost look at you and they're like, you need to leave now because you've been here for so long and just got a coffee.
Yeah.
So it's really hard, and I think that's one of the reasons why I said to you I want to move to Manchester, because there's a lot of buildings in my budget that you can co-work from.
Yeah.
Whereas if I was in London, I'd move away from this busy house to being just by myself, probably with strangers, and then I'd be paying extortionate amounts just to get out the house and sit in a cafe. So I think it's just about finding a balance, but having that community both online and in real life.
That's really important. The other thing is, I think for you've used remote working so far because you've got such a love for travel and being in different places a lot of the time. But for me, when I was your age, which the world didn't seem so small then that you couldn't just hop on a plane to New Zealand or wherever. For me, I would have loved the remote working and the flexibility it would have given me to do alongside the job and the studying I was doing at your age. Not that I could have fit it in at that time, but if I'd had that option, it would have been great. And people who are in jobs that aren't stretching them or challenging them or want to earn some more money, I think it's a brilliant thing to do.
That was really the oh my gosh, that was really the reason why I got into it, because I said to you I can't afford to move out on the wage that I'm on.
Yes.
And then invested in learning appointment setting, did it alongside my 9 to 5, and then I went to go and visit my friend from Manchester, Jess, in Dubai, and that was really the period where I had 2 weeks off my 9 to 5, but I was appointment setting for 6 hours a day, and I thought I want to be doing this full time so that I can do everything I want to do, really. And then that's when I handed in my notice. I remember Mum and Dad, they were so confused when I said I was quitting.
Not confused, slightly concerned, I think, was the expression.
Yeah, and then I was saying, I'm just sending messages from my phone. But it's all worked out. I think that it was It is one of those things where if I hadn't gone into appointment setting, I genuinely, every time I was going to the office, do you remember how demotivated I was when I'd had a conversation about like my pay rise or promotion?
Oh, totally.
And they'd say, okay, just wait until you've done this and then we can look at it again.
It wasn't just about pay, it was about recognition, wasn't it?
Yeah, and at the time I just literally couldn't have afforded to move out and have any sort of life.
Yeah.
So it was just hard, and I think that's the struggle when it comes to marketing, and that's why I'm always so pleased and like proud to see when people have gone into their own online businesses or they're marketing freelance, because it is really hard to get that recognition, especially in an entry-level position post graduating. And like for me, I did so much work experience for free when I was at uni.
How many different work experience jobs did you have?
I think I had 5 all in all, but in my second year I did 1 day a week at social chain, and in my third year I was like, do you know what, I loved that, I'm going to do it 1 day a week until COVID. But then you go into a role, and I actually got the job at the Huck Group, but then wanted to move back to London. I had to take the pay cut.
Yes.
And that was really when I thought I can't afford life. But
the life you want.
No, not the life I want, not all the holidays. And then when I looked at the annual leave, because we go away so much as a family, even just to up north or to go and see family in France, it's really hard to factor that in and then factor in
long
seeing
weekends
different friends. And I do just get really bad FOMO. So then I guess we've gone over like the importance of community and just touching on mindset. What is your biggest lesson that you have in life about mindset?
Oh, that's a tricky one. I think, am I talking about you still?
No. Talk about your biggest bit of wisdom.
I'd need longer to think about that, but I'd say the best advice I can give to anybody is to look for the best in any situation, to be positive.
Yeah. That's a good bit of advice.
It is, isn't
it?
And
I think that we definitely do that too much.
And that was caught on the hop as well.
Obviously, we know each other quite well. What has been the biggest challenge you've seen me face and overcome or are overcoming?
I think
there's been a few.
I think for you, especially with the work that you do, it being remote and you organising yourself, can I mention about the ADHD?
Yeah.
So the fact that you've now been diagnosed with ADHD, but before it was, I think you had to be very stern with yourself at times, not to go off at a tangent or not to think, I want to do this, I've got this work to do.
Yeah.
And you've really sort of structured yourself and had strategies in place to do that. So, and I think you work very much on, if I get this work done, I can go and do this, take the dogs out or go and meet a friend for coffee or something like that. You've managed to, but I would say that's probably been a struggle for you. And now things are easing because things have got better and you're being diagnosed and everything. But,
I'm understanding it a bit more.
And it comes with maturity as well. But I think that's probably where your online community really helps. I know if it was me, I'd have been doing exactly the same if I'd been in my 20s, because there's so much going on, or you want to do other things, go to the gym and all that sort of thing. So it's a case of structuring your work life appropriately for that.
Yeah, I
think that was probably a learning curve for you, was it?
Yeah, because I think I need to have some sort of community or someone depending on me to keep me accountable.
Yeah.
So that's where I really enjoy what I'm doing now, obviously with the coaching. But then it wasn't really until I was working at my last 9 to 5 in London that I actually started thinking that I might have ADHD. And it was my manager at the time said, have you looked into it, Hester, who's actually one of my best friends. So it was kind of a joke at first, but kind of not. And then I was doing all of the tests online and I was like, oh my God. But then I think it was more since the diagnosis, that's probably when I struggled with it more, because it was a 2-year wait to get diagnosed. And then it is just when you find out, it's like, oh my God, that's so annoying. But now I'm sort of just coming to coming around to like how it can benefit me.
I think on the plus side, that's where the remote working has worked really well, because you have good days and bad days, or
Yeah.
times, and so you've been able to really throw yourself at it when you've been in a good place,
Yeah.
and when things have gone a little bit haywire, you've been able to
Take the day and go and spend it with friends.
Yeah, be more flexible.
Yeah,
That's the
100%.
thing,
So I think I definitely need that, because sometimes I do just need to go for a coffee and a catch up, and then I'm still thinking about all things work all the time.
Yeah,
But instead of just being able to switch off, it actually works in my favour because I can't switch off. So it's not like I close the laptop and are like, perfect.
Yeah.
But always thinking, and that's really why this discussion has come around, because I was like, that would be such a good idea, just to talk to people about what I do. And then my final question, unless there's anything else that you would like to add, is I'd love to hear whether you think that I'm on the right path and why.
I absolutely think you're on the right path. It wouldn't suit your sisters, but it's the right path for you. And yeah, I absolutely do. I can see how happy this is making you, Rach, and you're moving forward all the time. But I think also because you in our family, and I know both sides of the family would say this, you're the one who wants to make certain that everybody's all right. You organise everybody, you think of things that are going to make life better for us. And I think that's how you are with your community as well. From what I hear, when I'm going past the lounge and there's a call going on, but I can hear you chatting, I can hear you laughing with people and giving advice. And I think so it is the perfect role for you, I think.
Yeah, no, I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mum.
That's all right, darling.
I nearly made me cry at the
I
end.
only said what I thought, darling. I 100% only said what I thought. And you definitely haven't got my slippers on, have you?
No, I haven't.